Hey, welcome back to Inzarella Family Farm. So today, as you can see in the background, it is officially winter. We got really cold and a bunch of snow. Kind of hit us all at once. But I wanted to show how the sheep are doing and where they're at and how we keep them warm and all that good stuff. So we'll show you this. So in here, we have some wheat straw that we use. As you can see, those big bales back there, they're I think 4x8, pretty big. They're 4-strand, not wire but twine, and so we'll usually use about one of those a month, maybe 2 a month, actually every month and a half. But so we'll spread that out in here. This helps to absorb the urine, feces, keep them dry, as well as create a little bit of warmth through the deep bedding process. And in a nutshell, what the deep bedding process is we just continue to add straw and we don't take away. We just keep adding and adding and adding till the season's over and they're back out on pasture. And then we remove this and this goes into our compost. And then we use that in our garden when it's time. But you can see this one particular bale here is kind of out by itself, and I put that there kind of as a windbreak so the sheep can get behind it if it ever gets windy. For whatever reason, a lot of them like to lay in front of it. I guess they'll lay there when it's not windy. But this is straw. They don't eat it because there's no nutritional value at all to it. They realize that. Initially, when it goes out, they may pick through it, and if they find any I guess wheat or the heads of the wheat, they'll grab that. But usually, due to our modern day farming practices, there's not a lot that escape the machines. But so Greta likes to lay on the short one because goats like to go high, so we do that for her. And then if it gets cold, she can get down and lay on the ground. So these add a lot to it. So, during the deep bedding process and as the sheep are laying here in the process of this all breaking down, it does give off a little bit of heat, and that heat helps keep them warm. I'm going to spin around here so you get a better view, but this is, see the sheep out there, but this is completely open, this end here. And contrary to belief, you don't want to enclose these guys too much and heat everything up because you run the risk of respiratory issues. So there are some folks that do that, and with good ventilation and all that, you can help reduce that risk, but we don't do that. This is just a three-sided structure here. I think it's 9 feet here at the ceiling, or at the walls rather. It's higher than that there at the peak, but I can't remember what the dimensions were on this. This was, I think it was, I want to say 25 by 18. And we don't encourage our sheep to stay in here unless the weather's bad. We want them to get out, move around, and do what sheep do. So this little building does do a really good job, although it's not heated. And in the summer, it's not air conditioned. I don't know if anybody does that. I guess there's some barns that probably cool. But we don't do that here. But you can see how they'll lay against the side of the building, lay on the side here. You can actually see where they've been hanging out right there. But they'll lay against the bales here. And if we need more, I can make a phone call if we need more bales, if we have a long winter. So that's not a big deal. The sheep are currently out running around, as you can see. That big orange thing is called a creep feeder. And we just put about, I think, 1,500 pounds of feed in there. has mineral in it, like minerals, the salt, some proteins and stuff like that. We don't typically do that in the summer, a late fall or early fall, because they're out on pasture and they get all their nutrients from the grass. Right now, they don't have options of that. The grass is covered in snow, as you can see. So we want to supplement the hay that's over there with a little bit of grain. That grain helps to break down or keep them warm from the inside out. So the process of the grain and the hay also breaking down gives off a little bit of heat. So that's kind of how these animals stay warm. So they're enjoying themselves. One of the things we look at is body conditioning to make sure that these guys aren't, for example, getting skinny. You're starting to see ribs, hip bones, and all that. That's a bad sign. Something's going on. So one of the ways we combat that is through trying to get them some good feed. So they do get the grain. In the grain, there's, like I said, minerals. I think there's some soybean protein or soybean meal, which is high in protein. And then they also have the roughage there. It's a little far away, but you can see where they're congregating at. So, and then every now and then, when the weather permits, those green buckets, I put additional mineral for them. But they do that. Then we have water, and we have de-icers in the water so they don't freeze and turn into little ice rinks. So there's one over there if you can see. But yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. Just wanted to share a little bit of that with you. We'll probably do another video on this, go a little bit more in depth. I don't want to dig my hand in any of that right now because it is covered with poop. But maybe we'll stick a thermometer, see what the temperature is when it gets a little bit more straw placed on it, gets it built up, and we'll see how the temperature is at the bottom of this. So right now I think I've only put out 2 of these bales here. Like I said, 1 a month, 1 every 3 weeks. So I usually try to plan on 6 months. Same thing when I buy my hay for these guys. I usually go about a 6-month mark. And if that, here, we'll go over here and look at that real quick. If that, sometimes that'll give me a little bit extra, which is fine. It's not a big deal. I'd rather have extra. But also I have connections to get more if I need it. I try to get this all done at once, and we're not having to get hay through this winter time. If you don't live in a climate like this, or you're not familiar with a climate like this, everything you do out here during the winter is much more difficult. Stuff's frozen, stuff's covered in snow. You're cold, you're covered in snow. So, we try to get some of this stuff knocked out. But yeah, for wintertime preparation, as a general rule, I try to plan for about 6 months. Although we're going to have to utilize this here shortly, because we're going to have to trim some hooves and give some vaccinations. And want to do that before the sheep really get big, because I'm going to spin you around here. Out there we have a ram. His name is Rocco. I don't know where Rocco's out right now. Probably hanging out with some of his girlfriends, but we'll do a little introduction to Rocco. I haven't been around him much, but Rocco has been, or the times that I have been around him, he's been pretty chill. So he's not trying to butt me or anything like that. Sometimes you run the risk of that happening with an aggressive ram. We don't like aggressive rams because aggressive rams can cause problems / injuries. So we like to have rams that have good temperament and that behave. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go back inside. Pretty much done my chores for today, but I just wanted to share a little bit. So we'll do more videos. So, all right. Well, like, subscribe, and share, and all that good stuff. And if you are hitting the like button and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button also. We like to grow the channel. At some point, maybe get monetized. We can put some of that money back into the farm. It's a good way to help farmers is when you watch their YouTube channels, to make sure that you like and subscribe. That's your contribution. So, all right, everybody, stay safe.